Welcome to the Nightmare Zoo, where we feed your deepest fears.
Welcome back to the Nightmare Zoo. Tonight we're going deep into the Appalachian range. 4 separate case files, 4 different rangers, 4 legends that locals have whispered about for generations but rarely spoken of on record. What you're about to hear are first-hand accounts pulled from incident reports, radio logs, and 1 badly damaged trail camera. These are the stories that don't make it into the visitor's guide. Viewer discretion advised. Tonight's file contains graphic descriptions of violence and animal-human remains. If you're sensitive to that, sit this one out. Lock your doors, turn down the lights, and settle in. Story 1. The Grinning Man of Kanawha Hollow. Ranger Bo Sutcliffe, Kanawha State Forest, West Virginia. I'd been working Kanawha State Forest for 6 years before the Grinning Man showed up on my radar, and even then I didn't believe it. Not until the Delacroix boy went missing off the Davis Creek Trail in October of last year. We searched for 11 hours before I found his backpack 40 yards off trail, unzipped, contents untouched, sitting perfectly upright against a tree like someone had set it down gently. No drag marks, no blood, just his backpack. His water bottle still capped and a smell in the air like burnt hair and pennies. That night on the ridge above Davis Creek, I saw him for the first time. Locals call him the Grinning Man, a tall, gaunt figure, skin the color of ash, standing motionless between 2 trees. His mouth split wider than any human jaw should allow, rows of small yellowed teeth locked in a permanent, unnatural grin that never moved, never changed, even as his head slowly turned to track me walking the ridge. I radioed it in. Nobody believed me until Ranger Priya Okonkwo saw him 3 nights later, standing in the exact same spot, in the exact same position, as if he hadn't moved at all. Except this time there was a fresh kill at his feet. A full-grown buck, gutted clean, its throat torn open, its eyes gone. We found the Delacroix boy's shoe 2 weeks later, 40 feet up a sycamore tree, still laced. We never found anything else. The Grinning Man doesn't chase. He doesn't hide. He waits in the exact same spot on the ridge, night after night, grinning at whoever's brave enough to look back. The Forest Service closed Davis Creek Trail permanently in December. Officially, it's erosion damage. Unofficially, every ranger who's worked that section knows better than to hike it after dark. Story 2. The Wood Booger of Cataloochee, Ranger Priscilla Yates, Cataloochee Valley, North Carolina. The old-timers in Cataloochee have talked about the Wood Booger since before the park existed. A hulking, ape-like thing with matted, filth-crusted fur and a smell so foul it clears a campsite in seconds. Most rangers treat it like campfire folklore. I did too, until the elk herd started dying. Cataloochee's elk reintroduction program is a point of pride for this park. In August, we lost 4 adult bulls in 9 days. Not to disease, not to poachers. Something was killing them and leaving them exactly where they fell. But the way they were killed made no sense. Necks snapped at an angle no predator I know of could produce. Rib cages caved inward, not torn open. 1 bull was found wedged 15 feet up in the fork of a dead oak, too heavy for any known animal to lift. I set up 3 trail cameras along the elk's grazing paths. 2 came back empty. Not blank, empty. The memory cards had been physically removed and the housings crushed flat, like something had understood exactly what they were for. The 3rd camera caught 6 seconds of footage before it, too, went dark. In that footage, a massive hunched shape crossing the frame at a dead run, easily 8 feet at the shoulder, fur matted with mud and old blood, arms disproportionately long, ending in blunt, filthy claws. It didn't look at the camera. It didn't need to. It knew exactly where it was. We pulled the elk program's night monitoring after that. Officially, it's seasonal. The 2 rangers who saw the footage put in for transfers within the month. I stayed. I don't go out after dark anymore, and neither does anyone else who smelled what I smelled that week. A stench so thick it clung to my uniform for 3 washes. Story 3. The White Thing of Gauley Mountain. Ranger Emmett Vale, Gauley Mountain, Monongahela National Forest, West Virginia, Gauley Mountain has claimed 6 hikers in the last 40 years. Officially, exposure, falls, bad luck on bad terrain. I believed that too, until February, when I found what was left of a solo backpacker named Aaron Kessler. He'd checked in at the ranger station 2 days prior, healthy, well-equipped, planning a straightforward overnight loop. When he didn't check out, I went looking. I found his tent collapsed and shredded a half-mile off the main trail, and Aaron himself 30 yards further, or what remained of him. His body had been opened from sternum to pelvis, and every rib on his left side had been individually snapped outward, splayed like the ribs of a boat hull. There was almost no blood in the snow around him, which, in February, in that cold, told me his body had been drained somewhere else and moved there afterward. Something had carried a full-grown man a half-mile through dense timber and arranged him like a display. That night, waiting for the recovery team, I saw it. A tall, pale shape moving low through the trees on all fours, easily 9 feet in length, hairless, skin like wet chalk, moving with a wrongness I still can't describe, like its joints bent in places joints shouldn't be. It stopped at the tree line, 60 yards out, and rose onto 2 legs, unnaturally slow, vertebra by vertebra, until it stood upright, watching me. It didn't come closer. It didn't need to. It watched for almost a full minute, then dropped back to all fours and vanished into the dark without a sound. I've worked Gauley Mountain for 9 years. I've stopped hiking the North Ridge alone. I've stopped hiking it after 4 p.m., period. And I've never told the Kessler family what actually happened to their son, because there's no version of that truth that helps them sleep at night. Story 4. The Brown Mountain Watcher. Ranger Corinne Ashworth, Linville Gorge, Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina. Everyone's heard of the Brown Mountain Lights, the ghost lights that have been documented over Linville Gorge since the 1800s, written off by geologists as swamp gas, ball lightning, distant headlights refracting off the ridgeline. I believed the science too until September, when 3 campers vanished from the gorge floor in a single night and the lights didn't stop for 6 straight hours. We found their campsite intact, tents zipped, gear packed, nothing disturbed, except for a perfect scorched circle of blackened earth 20 feet across, centered exactly where their fire pit had been. No accelerant, no burn pattern consistent with any fire we could explain. Just seared ground, and 3 sets of footprints leading directly into the center of that circle and stopping. No footprints leading out. I was part of the search team that stayed in the gorge past dark, against my better judgment. Around midnight, the lights came. Not the soft orange glow described in the old accounts, but sharp, cold white orbs, moving with clear intention along the ridgeline, converging toward our position. As they got closer, the temperature dropped so fast our breath started freezing mid-air, and every radio on the team cut to pure static at the same instant. One of the lights dropped down into the gorge itself, hovering 30 feet above the search team, and for just a moment, inside the light, I saw a shape. Tall, thin, limbs too long, head tilted at an angle no neck should allow. Then it shot straight up and vanished over the ridge, and the cold broke all at once, like a held breath finally released. We never found the campers. The official incident report calls it a presumed flash flood, even though there was no rain that night and no water damage anywhere near that campsite. I know what I saw. So does every ranger who was in that gorge with me. None of us go back after dark. Not for any reason. 4 rangers. 4 mountains. 4 legends that Appalachia has been quietly living beside for over a century. The Forest Service keeps calling these things erosion, exposure, and swamp gas. The rangers who've actually stood on those ridges after dark know better. If you're hiking Appalachia this season, stay on marked trails, stay off the ridgelines after sundown, and if you ever catch a smell like burnt hair or a light that moves like it's thinking, don't wait to find out what it is. Just leave. Thank you for watching tonight's case files. Subscribe for more, and remember, keep your eyes open even when the lights go out.